if you doubt you, they will doubt you too.
Mm.
So if you're already in that room and you have this ongoing dialogue of, why would people listen to me? I don't add value. I'm stupid. I can't do this. I can't do that. You have energetically communicated that outwardly to everybody in the room. So no matter what you say or how you say it, there is an energy in your tone, in your delivery.
You know the vibe. All spice, no sugar. Let's get into it.
Alrighty, welcome back to another episode on the Don't Sugarcoat It podcast. And you might notice that we're in a little bit of a different environment, and that's because we're here in Sydney. I'm on my 4th and last Australian tour, and I thought, what's more iconic than actually filming my podcast at the cities that I'm doing my tour in as well. So that's why we're here in Sydney. And there's something else. There's something else that I'm not telling you, because there's another beautiful woman sitting right beside me right now. And you're going to love her. Like, shit. Oh, my God. Oh, she's amazing. So, beautiful souls, I'm so excited to welcome this woman. She's one of those women that when they walk into the room, the whole vibration shifts. Everyone turns to look at her and goes, who is this human? Honestly, I feel that. The moment that I connected with this soul, I knew there was something special about her. And if you've come across her content, you probably felt that too. She makes me feel special when I listen to her content as well. She's pretty fucking iconic. So I thought I need to have this woman on my podcast. It just makes sense. Today's guest is someone who is feisty, magnetic, iconic, and has turned the art of speaking into a damn fucking superpower. She's coached thousands of leaders to stop hiding behind their "I'm not ready yet" energy and start owning their message like the mic was made for them. She's been on world stages. I literally just watched this woman go from like Melbourne to San Francisco to, well, I didn't even know. Every time I go on this woman's Instagram page, she's in another country, in another city, speaking on stages. And I'm just like, can she get any better? I'm just like watching in absolute awe. She has built an audience of over 250,000 humans who are obsessed with her work, including myself. She's rewriting what it means to be confident, assertive, and unapologetic. We're diving deep into all things voice, visibility, and speaking from the damn soul. So, as you can probably tell by now, absolutely fucking perfect for the podcast. So if you've ever felt the fear of fumbling your words like I just fucking did, shrinking your truth, or playing small to make others feel comfortable, this episode is going to take you to a new dimension. Please welcome the zesty, bold, and certified speaking nerd herself, Annelise McCarthy. Welcome, my love, to the Don't Sugarcoat It podcast.
I think that takes the cake for the best introduction I've ever received. Can we have a moment? Thank you so much for having me.
Can we have sound effects on this podcast? Like, woo!
Now, I need to start. I'd be amiss not to say, speaking of iconic, you are so iconic, and I need people to know that I'm genuinely obsessed with you. Like, I have a girl crush. It is such an extraordinary privilege to be sitting here with you, because I perceive you as such a weapon in femininity, in business, in how you own the woman that you are, how you manifest the life that you want to lead. You inspire me so much when I watch your content. So literally sitting here with you all of this week, I literally was having like ass clench jitters, being like, holy shit.
That's going to be my new thing, ass clenched jitters.
I'm going to be in the room with Candy. I'm so genuinely, it's such a privilege to be here. I'm so excited, and I'm really, really thrilled because I love everything about you. So I'm really excited to be here.
Oh my God, my jaw, I just need to pick it off the ground.
So the whole podcast is going to be fangirling.
We're just fangirling each other the whole time. Like, we're not giving you any value. We're just like, oh my God, I love you. You're iconic. Tell me more.
No, you're iconic.
Stop it. Oh my God. And honestly, babe, it's so funny because I remember coming across your Instagram account, and I think I found that your video of you going up to the Virgin or the Qantas flight attendants,
yes.
that popped up. How many views did that get? Do you know?
Millions.
Yeah. Millions, yeah. I remember that coming up on my feed, and I was like, who is this human? Like, she's fucking hilarious and iconic. And then I didn't follow you. I kept swiping. But watched your video, kept following, kept swiping. And then Tamara's like, we're like thinking about, okay, who's in what city? Who do we want to interview on this tour? And then she sent me your account and I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, this is cool.
I've seen this bitch before.
I've seen this bitch before. She's cute. She's cute. And then I think we followed each other. And then I was like, then you in the hype chats and you're in the DMs. I was like, she's really cute. I fucking love it. And something that I really admired from the minute that I came across your account and then how I guess our relation has built from there is just the hype energy and the confidence and the magnetism that you show up in. It's truly just so refreshing to have that. And I feel like I've watched your account just grow over the last few months.
Yeah.
That has just been blowing up. And for me, I put it down to it's the magnetism, it's the energy. Would you agree?
Thank you. It's interesting. Yes, I would agree that I'm a magnetic person. And I think that so much of what we do, which I know you love, is energy. So the energy you put out is the energy you attract. But also, I think I've been quite experimental in my content strategy. And I think in terms of the actual following that's increased over the past few months, I think that has a lot to do with it as well. So experimenting with the type of content I create and the consistency with which I share it. So it's intentional, but also I think it's also just kind of meant to be. Like as it all starts to happen, I'm like, yeah, well, duh.
Obviously.
And it doesn't come from a place of ego. I think it's from a place of, very groundedness and knowing of, I know this is my calling and I know that the work that I'm doing serves such a deep, high purpose. And it was probably about 2 or 3 years ago, I truly surrendered the timeline of when that needed to happen. I was very obsessed with timelines in my early 20s. And I was like, I need to have this by this age, the house by this age, get married by this age. Like it was all very set out. And I think now I've really just grounded in like, I will be doing this for the rest of my life. I love what I do so much. I consider it such an honor to do this work. It'll all happen as it's meant to happen. And I think this year, there have been so many serendipitous events that have aligned for me. And I really do believe the universe was just like, you know what, baby cakes, let's give you a cheeky little nudge. Let's give you a scrumptious little push. Like let's just edge you a little bit. And I've just received that so beautifully. And it's great to now see more people finding the work than I do. It's really beautiful.
It's so nice to have that reflected back to you. And you mentioned the universe giving you a bit of like an edge. What's something that you've edged yourself on recently?
Oh, that's such a great question. It's something that happened this morning and it's something that I'm doing a lot more recently. So I made a decision about a year ago that I wanted to be known in the corporate world. And my whole comfort zone existed in business owners and entrepreneurs. And I know with my background in corporate, that was a world I really wanted to get into, but it terrified the living shit out of me. Like the idea of going into a company, being like, hi, darlings, how are we? I'm going to teach you today how to speak. Let's go. Like that was so terrifying. And the edge that I've been pushing myself towards is chasing really big, scary opportunities. So this morning was actually an interview for a keynote slot overseas. And there were 8 executives on the call from this massive company. And I felt the like,
holy shit, I'm doing big shit.
I'm doing big shit. And I think it's such the beautiful balance of I know I'm worthy and deserving of being on that call, but it's also the edging of like, oh, but this feels super stretchy. This feels really like, oh my God. So that for me is the current stretch I'm playing with. And probably the biggest one at the moment is when is this podcast being aired?
4 weeks minimum, about 6 weeks.
Great.
Now.
Okay. So they'll know about it. So one of the biggest things that's really scary at the moment is in March 2026, we're doing a Australia-wide tour.
Yes, you are.
Yes, we are. So we're doing 6 cities and we're running a history-making tour because there's never before been a communication tour for women by women in Australia. It's never been done.
When you say we, is this you or your team?
This is me and my team.
Okay, cool. Because I do the same thing. I say, we're doing this. And people are like, we?
Who's
Who are
we?
you? I'm like, me and my team.
It's my family.
It's my family. I'm like,
They're
we're here
part of me.
together.
They're part of
Yeah.
me. No, but you would know with events, it's like planning weddings, and it's a huge, huge investment up front. It takes
Yes.
a lot of balls to
Yes.
advertise yourself, not knowing who's going to show up in the room. And we are
The initiation of
it's-
running your own events.
Seriously, it's
Yeah.
big. It's big. And one of the big goals I set for this year is I want to run a cross-country tour, and I want to have a minimum of 1,000 women across the country attending this tour. So we are in literally the final stages at the moment of hitting launch and going live.
Is that the big coming
It's the big-
soon
it's the
that
big
I've seen
coming
you
soon.
leaking?
That's it. Yep.
I love it.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
very
so
exciting.
March, yes. So you would have launched it by the time this episode airs. March, do you know the dates and locations off the top of your head, just so we can do a sneaky plug?
Oh, dates and locations off the top of my head. I know that Sydney is March 3rd. I know Brisbane is March 10th. I know we have Melbourne March 13th. Double check the dates because they may not be right. And then we have Adelaide on the 17th of March, Canberra on
Canberra.
the
Never considered doing an event in Canberra.
but maybe they're actually switched. It's Adelaide, Canberra, and then Perth. And then Perth is on, I think it's the 26th of March. Double check dates. but those
Proper,
are
you're
the
doing
cities.
proper cross country.
A tour. Yes.
I love that. Yeah, cool. Have you run events or have you ran your own events before? Have you always been speaking on?
No, my business started running events. So I ran
Cool.
about 15 events in Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney. I remember my very first events, I had 9 or 10 women show up, and we'd be together for, 4 or 5 hours. And it was such initiation by fire, because there's a real surrendering of the ego when you want to have a room of 50 women and then you have 6 that show up. But it was also the learning of, well, how extraordinary that those 6 women get access to me for that day. And some of those women turned into clients, which turned into beautiful friendships. So it's all meant to be. But I remember the very first event I ever ran was in 2022, and it was for International Women's Day. And it was in late Feb or early March. I was so unbelievably terrified to run this event. I'd never run an event before. And it was in my partner at the times in his house that he had in Woolloomooloo. And we cleared out the bottom of his apartment, and I hired wedding chairs, and I went to fucking Whoop Whoop to pick up wedding chairs. And I had like 30 white wedding chairs in the bottom of the apartment. I went to pick up sushi catering. It was pouring with rain
Oh my God.
on that day.
Is she not describing my very first event? Literally, this is exactly what I did for
It's a
my
rite
very
of
first
passage.
event.
Yeah, it's a rite of passage. And it was an
My
extraordinary
mind's
day.
I'm like, oh my God, yes. So
But
you're basically, I'm seeing you, and I'm like,
Yeah.
the trauma. And then I'm also like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just like, fuck yeah.
I think I've really made up in my mind, you don't really, or at least, feel free to challenge me on this. You don't really run events as a business strategy, because if you want to be stressed 24/7, that's the work that you go into. Like it's fucking ludicrous running events. It's so much work.
I
But-
call myself a chronic high achiever.
Yeah.
I'm
we
addicted
can
to
dive
it.
into
Yeah.
that trauma.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know all the things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think I was saying this to Tamara the other day. I was like, I think I'm addicted to the chaos and the adrenaline rush of what I get when I'm running events and when I'm stretched. And it's not that that's a bad thing, because I'm like, I'm so grateful for that part of me, because it's the very thing that's gotten me to where I am this quickly in my business. But I feel you on that. It's the stretch, the edge, and the expansion. Like nothing can prepare you. I call it the fiery gates of fucking hell.
Yeah.
Stepping through courage,
Yeah.
right? And that's, for me, I believe, that's all that this journey is. Speaking on stages, impacting thousands of women. I know that your mission is to impact thousands of women and help bring
Millions. Yeah.
millions. Sorry.
No, it's true though.
Millions.
It'll happen. Yeah.
Millions of women, teaching them how to use their voice. And you have to be willing to consistently and continually step through that courage to get to that level.
Yeah, I think it's, in the work that we do, like yourself, Candy, I think it's an obligation that we have. I think it's a responsibility. I'd feel like a really big fucking hypocrite if I stood on stage and spoke about overcoming fear, and yet I was living a very cushy, comfortable lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I think it's also I think it's an alignment and an integrity piece for me of I feel like it's my moral obligation to do things that push me, because public speaking, for example, now, it doesn't terrify me anymore. I still get nervous, but I've done it for so long and it is my craft, it is my mastery, that I can no longer deeply resonate with the fear of speaking because I have worked so hard to overcome that now. So when I'm connecting with women in the room or with clients in the room, I have to find other areas of my life where I am pushing and stretching myself to really connect to that discomfort. So that's why, just as we said before we started recording, things like a half marathon, the fuckery of a half marathon. You do that not because you fucking want to run a half marathon, but you do it to go through the mental and physical challenges to learn your grit and your determination and that mental discipline. And I think that is something I'm actually quite passionate about. I really love pushing myself and finding how far I can grow. It's the reason I moved to Melbourne. I lived there for 2 years. I like knowing that I can handle anything and that I'm capable of holding anything that comes my way. I think it's such a deep, profound level of trust in myself that I've been so committed to building. That's why I got trust tattooed 2 years ago. That to me has been such a core foundation of all of my confidence and self-belief, and how I perceive myself as a woman has come from, I can do hard shit.
Yeah.
And I can get out on the other side, and I'm really capable of doing things that scare me. And that has been such a strong foundation now of how I present myself outwardly, is that inner knowing of like, yeah, but I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will.
And I will. Exactly.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. Is speaking something that you feel you've always had? I often refer to, for me, being on stage and being seen is my unfair advantage. Something that I was gifted. And whilst, going through your teenage years and early adulthood and finding that power is a journey, but once found, it's like, oh, it was there the whole time. And when I connected in with that's my passion, that's my truth, that's my mission, is running events around the world, is speaking on stages, is creating my own stage so I can be seen by thousands and millions of women so they can then see themselves and then go and create whatever that is for themselves. And I see that ability to own fully who I am on stage is an unfair advantage that I was gifted. And I get to harness. And that's my superpower and that's part of my mission. So I'm wondering, with your speaking, do you feel that it was something that you always had within you? Or did you have to find it?
Great question. Before I answer your question, I want to firstly address, despite you mentioning that being seen is something you were gifted with, there's still a lot of vulnerability in being seen. So I think I just want to acknowledge, like, thank you for stepping into it. Even though you say it was something you were gifted with, that doesn't remove the fear of being seen. Because
absolutely.
I know
it's still a challenge.
Exactly. Like,
on
I
a
know
daily.
how edgy it is, especially for women, to do that. So thank you for stepping into that so boldly and being just such a beautiful leader in that, because that gives so many other women permission to do the same. So that's really, really special. To answer your question, no, it wasn't a gift I was born with or I've always had. I grew up with a speech impediment and I was terrified of speaking as a kid and I had a lot of anxiety. I was a very precocious, outgoing child, but I didn't have confidence. I learned to be a performer at a very young age, but my actual comfortability with who I was as a person, I had an extraordinary talent of being able to mold myself to what was needed or to what made people feel good or feel happy. So I became quite a caricature, I think, around, 12, 13, 14.
Do you know what your human design is? Just side quest.
Yeah, I think it's a generator.
Okay.
I might need to check that. It's not
check it and come back to me because I really want to know.
I'll let you know. I'll come back to you on that. Either a generator or projector. I did have it done once, but I don't remember exactly. But either one of those two.
Send me your birth dates and I'll give it all to you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
I
ma'am.
love that
I am
shit.
a Capricorn though, which I speak very true to. So that's all you need to know. But when I was in my teenage years, so as I mentioned, grew up with a speech impediment. I worked with a speech pathologist for many years. And that in of itself was really hard as a kid when you're taken out of class to go to a speech pathologist, which isn't a cool thing to do. It's not tennis lessons. It's not the flute. It's not the violin, which I played the trombone, by the way. So I was like the most fucking not cool kid in an
Not cool.
all-girls school.
Oh, wow.
So
Wait,
the bullying was
where did
just
you grow up? I'm just curious.
pervasive. So I actually grew up in Tasmania, but
Oh.
I was raised in Sydney. So I lived in Tasmania for the first 8 years of my life, and then
Wow.
majority of my schooling happened in Sydney. Yeah. But I went to an all-girls school, which is baptism by fire.
Yeah. Yeah, I could imagine. Like,
Yeah.
I can't, but I could.
Yeah. It was a challenge for sure. I mean, great privilege, obviously incredibly grateful for my education that I had, but growing up and being awkward and learning to be comfortable in your own skin around girls who are quite judgmental or, nitpicky, it's very hard. When I was, I'd say 14, 15, 16, as I'm sure with many girls, it was a really tough time for me. I really struggled with body image and self-confidence. I had an eating disorder for almost 7 years, and I didn't really see myself as somebody who was I don't want to say lovable. Like, it's not that I didn't believe I was worthy of love, but I didn't see myself as important. Didn't really see myself as somebody that was worthy of people's time. And so I knew that I could communicate well and I could say the right things when I needed to. And I'm a very tall woman. So I also took up space quite easily. So I kind of developed this habit of masking from a very early age. And when I would come into these very important rooms or I'd have to stand up and speak, I would present as very confident. And so from a young age, I'd get all this feedback of like, wow, you're so confident. You're such a confident young woman. And I would take that on and be like, thank you, thank you, thank you. But what didn't hit me until probably COVID actually was I wasn't confident. I didn't feel confident. I was so mean to myself all the time. Like, looking at myself in the mirror was such a challenging task every day.
Do you still feel like you face those challenges today?
What's, I think, really beautiful, answering this very honestly, we all have bad days. So I'll have bad days. But on average, no. Because I have such a deep, profound love for the woman that I am. I am so incredibly proud of everything I've done, of everything I've been through, of everything I've built for myself and for others. I also really respect who I am. I respect the friend that I am. I respect how I show up for others. I respect the discipline that I withhold. I have a lot of respect for myself. And it's very hard to not love something that you have a deep admiration and respect for. So that love for me is really, really deep now. And actually, that's why I moved to Melbourne 2 years ago. I didn't know anybody in Melbourne, had no family there, no friends there, no contacts whatsoever. And I wanted to move to a new city to learn that home wasn't a location. I wanted to learn that I could be comfortable and confident in myself anywhere.
Why do you think that's so important, especially for women to find that home within?
I think if you don't feel at home within yourself, in fact, there's a beautiful book, one of my favorite books of all time. It changed my life. It's called Homecoming by Dr. Thema Bryant. And I always recommend it to my clients. And she describes it as a coming home to self. And when you don't come home to yourself, you walk around day to day trying to find a home elsewhere, in other people, in other jobs, in other locations. I think there's a strong sense of self and acceptance and knowing that if you don't have that, or when you struggle to find that, you then seek that out from other people or from other things. So you have an attachment of worth to something that's outside of yourself. And when you attach worth to something that's external, you don't have control over it. So that's why I say, self-worth and self-esteem are very different, because your self-worth is internal, your self-esteem is external. So when somebody can understand the relationship, which is why I talk about relationship with voice, the relationship that you have with yourself, with your voice, with, the woman that you are, that is the greatest investment you could make in committing to, in learning. Because when you learn to love her and to be at home with her, your entire world changes and starts to reflect that. It's everything. It changed my entire life.
Is there a moment where you felt that? Even like, how long have you been speaking and training and coaching and
Coaching, 5 years.
yeah. And then what was your business before that, or what you're doing in your career related to speaking?
So when I graduated school, I had a diploma to teach public speaking because the training that I went through with public speaking training was such a
I
nerd.
didn't even know this was a thing.
I know. I was a real nerd.
That's why I was like,
Yeah.
how do you even get here?
Yeah. I was real nerdy. So long story short, I studied public speaking as a tuition for 10 years. So by the time I graduated school, they offered me to sit a diploma to teach public speaking, which I took. So when I went to university, I'm like, oh, let's do a degree in public speaking. And there's no degree.
I was like, is there?
And they're like, well, you could do communications. I'm like, oh, it's not the same. And so what I ended up doing, because I was very, and earnestly and with love, but I was very ego driven, I did law because that was a smart, impressive thing to do and would make me look impressive to other people, and I could earn lots of money with it. And a bit random, but I did a double bachelor of law and Mandarin because I had studied Chinese for many years, and
That is very random.
I wanted to be fluent in Mandarin.
Are you?
So not yet. I'm conversational, but I'm not fluent. So studied for 5 years.
Can I speak Mandarin? Okay.
A really random box of things, right?
Yeah.
But long story short, studied for 5 years as double bachelor. For the 5 years I was studying, I also taught as a speech teacher in all girls schools for 5 years. So that for me was the foundation of I love working with girls.
Yeah.
And I love working with women because I got to take any age from 9 years of age to 18 years of age and teach them on how to use their voice and how to value their instrument. So I had a really deep love and passion build over that 5 years, which became a very big juxtaposition from going from teaching, which is like, oh my God, I love this so much, to then going to a law lecture. And I'm like fucking putting me to sleep, right? So I knew in my second or third year of uni, I was like, I don't want to do this as a career. I know it's not for me. I think the pivot for me, I've had many pivots throughout my life, so it's hard to pinpoint one exact thing. But I think one of the big pivots for me, it was COVID. And that's why I always love asking people, what's your COVID story? Because my COVID story, it changed my whole life. Because I had a plane ticket to fly from Australia to Hangzhou in China, and I was meant to live there for a year. And my plane was meant to depart on the 17th of February, 2020. And Australia's borders closed about a week before that, or whatever the date was. So I couldn't leave Australia. And at the time, I was escaping so much in my life. I was leaving a relationship I didn't like. My parents had just divorced. One of my sisters has special needs. She was really unwell. There was so much happening in my life that I was just like, oh, I cannot fucking wait to get on this plane and just leave.
And bye.
And just say, bye. That's your problem now. I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to go do my thing. I'm going to go eat some dumplings for a year. I'm excited. Let's go. And then the borders closed. I couldn't fly. And I was forced by the glorious woman above to confront my shit and to stay. And that for me was when I had the realization of, I don't know what I'm fucking doing. I don't love what I'm studying. I don't want to be a lawyer. Like what do I want to do? And it was interesting during that time because a lot of my friends lost their jobs from COVID and they all needed to be trained for job interviews, and they all came to me because I was the friend that did the public speaking stuff. So I had a really beautiful couple of months where I got to experience coaching and working with friends and girlfriends of like, oh yeah, answer it this way. And, you should ask them that question. And they'd be like, shit, babe, like you're really good at this.
You're really good.
You've got
Do
a lot of,
you should do this?
Yeah, you got like a lot of knowledge in this. But I never thought it could be a career. I never thought it could be an actual job. And then it was May 2020, I bought my name, which was the most empowering thing.
As in like her speaking?
No, my name, Annelise McCarthy. I paid to buy my name. I bought every domain in my name, and I bought the website of my name. And that for me was the most extraordinary.
Stake in the ground.
Yeah.
This is who the fuck I am.
That's it. It was like, hi, I'm here.
Oh, what a power move.
Ready to fucking go. And then we did not start as her speaking coach. We started as AM Speech, which was Annalise McCarthy Speech, because that's very corporate. And people would take that seriously. And I was very much in need to be taken seriously. And I had this really gorgeously professional gold black cursive logo, which was, ooh, I'm here and I'm expensive and I'm important. And it was just, it screamed corporate. Honestly. And then I remember I started my Instagram account. And in fact, and I say this to all my clients, if you are bothered, if you are willing, scroll back, take about 5 minutes, get to the bottom of my page. I've never deleted a post. Everything is still there. My very first post is the logo, the original logo, AM Speech, and it was in August of 2020. I then didn't post anything until late November 2020 because I got so deep in who the fuck are you to start a business and coach people older than you, because I'm 26.
What?
I'm a baby. When I started my business, I was 21. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
As in you turned 26 this year? Or
I turned 27 this year.
When's you? Oh, you're a Capricorn. So
30th of December. Yeah.
So we're the same age.
Slay.
98, baby.
98, baby. That's why we got gorgeous skin.
Oh, that's why she's so iconic.
Did you think I was a lot older?
Yes.
A lot of people do. I think it's the height as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
But-
obviously how you carry yourself.
Yeah. I think that's also a trauma response, getting like real and deep there. But I was a carer for most of my life for my sister. I had to grow up very quick. And I think I learned to be mature as a way to prevent conflict and as a way to, I guess, just be taken seriously by people. Like I had such a deep need of don't question me. Don't tell me I'm wrong. I'm right. I was a fucking nightmare in university. Oh my God. I'm so sorry to anybody who was in my classes or tutorials. God forbid you had a group project with me. I was a savage. Like I
ran the show.
I ran the show. I was really hard to work
Makes
with.
Sense.
And look, I got a lot of love
here's
for
the
her.
thing is like, you're here.
Yeah.
This is why you're here.
Yeah.
That part of you was necessary for you to create the life that you have now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I love her too.
Thank you. Me too. Yeah, little Annie.
What a bad bitch.
We love little Annie, little bad bitch.
Little baddie.
And and so now it's grown so much over these past few years, and I feel like it's just the beginning. I feel like this year was the first year where I'm like, oh, getting somewhere. Like we're pushing the needle now. It's moving, it's shifting, it's growing. So that's super, super exciting. And I have my eyes set on very big, audacious goals, and I have a very strong intuition that I'm going to achieve them because I'm stubborn and I'm a Capricorn, and don't tell me I can't because that'll just fuel me.
That sounds about right. Sometimes I'm like, maybe tell me I can't.
Yeah.
Just so I can get a little bit of that fire.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What? You don't think I can do that?
100%.
Oh.
100%.
You watch.
Do you know what I love though? And I'd love to talk to you about this because what I love about following you is that you lead such what looks like, and please correct me if I'm wrong, a very balanced lifestyle. So it's from what I can see, you lead a life that really fuels the type of woman that you'd like to lead as. So you have your non-negotiables and your priorities, and obviously fitness is a very big one for you. The amount of mirror selfies I've screenshotted, and they are saved in my album, and I'm like, mummy, yummy. I think it's so funny actually. I had a keynote in Brisbane last week, and one of the things I said on stage, which to be fair, it's just so rogue and so me, but I was like, it is a miracle I'm not a lesbian. It really is. Like, it's a miracle I'm not gay because I just love women. And coming back to my point, when I see you live the life that you live, one of the things that I always say with the work that I do is I try and treat myself as an athlete because I'm a high performer. Yeah. And when you are on stage, as you are, if you don't have routines or rituals that service that and that support that, you will crumble and you won't be able to perform. So I would actually love to know selfishly, because it's a question I wanted to ask you, what does your kind of routine and rituals and non-negotiables look like? Because I'm still building mine, and I see you outwardly, and it seems like there's a deep alignment with intuitively the way you lead your life and what that looks like for you. And I would love to know, if I can, what that is.
That is such an interesting question. I'm probably going to be a really disappointing answer because, and it's one of those things where I'm like, am I so embodied in it that I don't realize that it's a routine? Do you ever think about that? Or I just, and this is sometimes like I have a background in competitive bodybuilding. So I've competed
oh, you're so badass.
In bodybuilding in the past. And people used to ask me this question of how did you do it? Because people look at the discipline that it's required to compete on stage and to get that lean. And at the time I was nursing. I was doing nursing, also started my business, was also running events at the same time and also competing. And people would look at me and be like, how are you doing this? I'd have a night shift. I would go to the gym after my night shift, do my training, do my cardio, go home, meal prep, sleep, edit content, post, building my business, all of these things. And for me, it's so simple is I just decided in my mind that that was what I was doing and there was no other way. It's a non-negotiable first up here before it's anywhere and seen externally. Yeah, so it was a decision that I set in my mind first before it was seen externally. And I just had that much integrity with what I was saying up here to then do it. And then people would then see the result of what I first decided in my mind. And I wouldn't budge on that.
Wow.
And that can be hard sometimes because it does create like an internal pressure and standard that I hold for myself. And like I was saying to you before, I was like, I love that part of you that was, you know, driven by ego, being like, I'm going to run this show. I'm going to run this project. I'm like, I love her because she's such a big fire and driver in who you are to be where you are. And for me, I feel the same as like, it can be challenging to have that level of integrity to just be like, I'm doing this thing. And even if my body is screaming at me and having that history in bodybuilding, there were moments where my body was quite literally screaming at me to stop. And my mind was like, no, we made a promise to ourselves.
Interesting.
And I'm willing to do that and do what I need to get there. So health and fitness has been such a integral piece of who I am at my core because it taught me how to follow through with my own words. It's also stretched my mental capacity. And it's interesting right now, like I've shifted kind of still training and bodybuilding, but running a lot more because I know I just love it. I love running right now, which is so random. I never thought me 2 years ago would be like, girl, we didn't even put a pair of running shoes on.
Yeah.
But anyway, here we are. And I love it. It's so great. And I was training, I was doing a track time trial a few weekends ago. And we were just talking about the mental capacity. Like when you set yourself a goal of, okay, I'm going to do 5 kilometers in 24 minutes. I'd never done that before. I'd never hit a sub 5 pace before. And that was so intense in my mind. And I just had to be like, just do it. Just do it. Like, and the inner dialogue, she's my best friend. And she's like, you can fucking do this. You can do this. So like my inner dialogue when it comes to health and fitness has then created the relationship with myself to put myself out there on social media, to run events, to persevere through the times of business that have been so challenging. And her just being like, yep, like you've got this. And that stretch of the physical fitness expands my mental capacity to hold more in my emotions, in my physical business as well. So I can put myself through the fiery gates of hell of courage because I've mentally trained for it in a different avenue. And that keeps me grounded. So for me, in the morning, this is my routine. Long-winded answer, but if I get up and don't move my body, whether that's going for a walk or going for a run or going to the gym, the day is just, it's yuck. It's yuck.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And thank you for sharing that. I've been through a very interesting journey the past few years of moving from a very, what I would recognize now as quite a masculine driven energy to embodying more of my feminine energy. And I've had a very interesting relationship with discipline. And it's a relationship I'm still learning and growing and evolving on. But 2 years ago, I got really sick. I got glandular fever. And I pushed myself to burnout because I was hustling so hard. And I had to learn from that experience to actually find the pause and the flow. And interestingly, how I speak changed from that.
Yeah.
And I talk about this a lot because your central nervous system and your energy, how you regulate that and how you lead your life, that influences how you talk. And so it's been very interesting for me to even observe over the past 2 and 3 years how my voice has changed because of my routines and because of my energy and because of finding flow between masculine and feminine. And it's so fascinating because it's all so embodied. And when I look at you and I look at your content, and I look at the woman that you are, you to me are just the most divine blend of the masculine and feminine. And you have the drive and you have the discipline. And yet there is such an outrageous femininity to you, an embodiment of that. Once again, I'm just obsessed with you.
I love it. I'm like, words of affirmation. Yes. Tick.
But it is, I think that in of itself, that's another challenge I think a lot of women struggle with, is finding what is that balance and what does that look like. And I train a lot of women who are in corporate, who are in very male dominated masculine environments. And what does showing up with femininity look like? And how do we start to embody that more? It's a really big challenge.
Yeah. And I feel this as well, coming from like the bodybuilding background plus the nursing background. I was so deep in that masculine hustle, like just grind, just get it done, to now looking at what I've created now is I have that flexibility to be in that flow. And I know, like, I'm so grateful for that era because it created the foundation and the stability for me to then now move into the more of the flow. And I see it as well. And this is also like how I work with my clients and lead my clients, is there is no, like, we don't want to tip the scales either way. It's the integration of both, because there needs to be that type of, masculine energy to drive you, and the creation of what you get to create when you fully tap into the innate divine gift that it is to be a woman. We are essentially the creators of life. We create a human inside of us. We are the creators of being. So when you tap into that inner feminine power, you get the gift of life, which can be anything that you choose to pour into. And I'm curious to know, like, with your background in corporate and teaching and coaching a lot of women in corporate to speak into or to lean into their more feminine side, like, one, I want to know, and also for the audience too, like, how do you crack that? Because in my past experience and even connecting with clients who are very deep in the masculine, it is hard to crack that because it has been so, like, there's been so many constructs that they've molded themselves into, one, for survival in their business and in their career, but two, but also out of like a protection mechanism from potentially like past traumas of like, okay, how do I actually soften into my feminine to even tap into that innate creative like energy to then create what I want to create? How do you crack that?
I love that question. It's a very big question. And I think it's a hard answer to come to on your own, because so much of self-awareness comes from awareness that we learn through other people or through invitations from other people. So I know for my own journey, there was a discomfort and a restlessness that I knew within myself, but I didn't know what that meant until I started actually opening my world to learning from other people about what that meant. So listening to podcasts or reading books or watching coaches online. But one of the biggest things, it's actually a conversation I had with one of my corporate clients last week: less doing and more being. And I think there is a discomfort in being still, being soft, being slow, being intentional. So many of the people I train, it's an eagerness to speak as quickly as possible, to say as much as you can in a short amount of time, and then it's done. One of the disruptions that we get to create in a very masculine environment is actually taking up space and taking time. Because there's a real pattern interrupt when you go from blah, 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 blah. And Annalise, what do you think? It's a great question. There's two key ways that I would address it. Number one, like, it's people sit in, they take notes. So I think the piece around intentionally slowing down, taking pauses, breathing, regulating your central nervous system, but also the work required to value yourself in that room and not undermine yourself. I always say, if you doubt you, they will doubt you too.
Mm.
So if you're already in that room and you have this ongoing dialogue of, why would people listen to me? I don't add value. I'm stupid. I can't do this. I can't do that. You have energetically communicated that outwardly to everybody in the room. So no matter what you say or how you say it, there is an energy in your tone, in your delivery that has the, I don't know, maybe. Does that make sense? You know, maybe, perhaps, could I? And we have all of this kind of, you know, this imposition, this non-assertiveness that starts to come through. So when we can really lean into being deserving of taking up space, taking ownership of that, taking your time and speaking intentionally. Can you actually be intentional with your words? Do you think, like, are you listening to yourself when you speak? Or does it just all come out at once? I think if more women, what's going on here? Sorry. I think if more women started their day with an intentionality of, I will be present with my words today. I will be grounded with my voice today. I'm allowed to take my time today. I'm allowed to take up space today. Like, oh, what a way to align your energy and your being energy for the day, rather than kickstarting with adrenaline, cortisol, doing, to-do list, because then your voice reflects that.
That's so powerful. Do you find that just having that dialogue for you has been something that's cracked you open to be more in your soft feminine?
Yes, absolutely. It changed how I speak. As I mentioned, it changed everything.
What else did it change in your life?
I think most poignantly, my relationships with others, but also my relationship with myself. And being able to meet myself where I was at. I had a very long journey of learning self-compassion. And I actually became quite obsessed with it. I studied self-compassion. Kristen Neff is known as the expert of self-compassion. I read all of her books. I purchased all of her trainings, and I was just obsessed with this idea of, wait, but you can be kind but firm. You can be driven but slow. And it was the balance. It was the yin and the yang. And I think what I had throughout my life was determination, driven, hustle, go, 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 go. Don't rest, because if you rest, you're going to fall behind. Don't rest, because if you rest, it means you're not good enough. It means you're not smart enough. It means you're not dedicated enough. Like studying law, that was like, people don't sleep. They literally will stay at the library until 3 a.m. They will get a 2-hour nap, and then they will wake up and go to the next lecture. Like, it was a very competitive environment for 5 years. To unlearn that behavior took me a really long time. And learning to stop, solo dating was a very big part of that journey.
I love.
Yeah. So taking myself out on dates, not using my phone, people watching, stillness, being present with food. What am I eating? What does it taste like? Like mindfulness, just having that experience regularly. These are things that really trained me to slow and to be more regulated in my nervous system. And I always say, like, body language to me is very, very telling with the work that I do. I love observing people based on how they present themselves, what they do with their hands. Like, it's so telling. And to me, when I'm in a room of executives, or I'm taken into a boardroom of 30 or 40 people and I'm training them for the day, all I have to observe is how people breathe. That's it.
What a superpower.
That's all I have to observe to know how they feel in the room, to know how comfortable they are with standing up in front of a group and talking. You can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it. So the breath for me has been a very pivotal part of my own journey, my breathwork journey as well, but learning to be that more grounded, present, slow version of myself, whilst creating space for the, fuck it, we're going to go do a Spartan this weekend and spend 21 kilometers in the mud, right? Like,
I saw that. I was like, What?
You get to do
Weren't
both.
you in San Francisco
You get-
a few days ago?
But this is for me why that routine part is so important.
Yeah.
Because if my whole life is just go, 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 and I don't have the slow and I don't have the intentional and I don't have the resets, I will burn out.
Yeah.
I will get sick. And my body now is prone to it because I got glandular fever. So my body will give me very clear signs of,
hey, slow down.
24 hours from now, you're going to get really sick. This is your
Yeah.
little warning sign, darling. Either stop for the day and rest or I'm going to fuck you up. And I'm like, yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Okay, I'm listening. I'm focusing. Right. So I've had to learn to really listen.
I think that's so great that you have that with your health.
Mm.
And I also find that so peculiar in how divine and intentional our body is with its cues.
Mm.
So whilst you have that relation with your health, I bet that you have that relationship with also pretty much every avenue of your life. If you're connected with your inner being, I call them downloads of, oh, I've got this download for my business. I need to do this event. I need to run this retreat, or I need to connect with this person, or even go to this place. That connection with self to listen to those cues is so powerful and can really like open up so many gateways for you. Do you find that you have that relation with yourself?
I've built it now. Yeah. Absolutely. Because I know what I want and I know who I am. Like Annalise isn't just a name. I know her. I can tell you about her. I can introduce you to her. I can allow you to understand her. And I think that depth of knowledge that I now have around, what are my boundaries? What do I want out of my life? What do I want out of my relationships? What am I willing to say yes to, willing to say no to? What makes me feel good? What doesn't? Having that understanding of self, that influences everything in your life, your career progression, your opportunities, the relationships you choose to pursue, how you choose to manage your time, what you do with your time, what activities you pursue, what food you eat. It influences everything. So starting with understanding her more deeply.
How do you do that? Like, how do you get to know her?
Well, firstly, I think it's a great privilege to even entertain that as a thing to want to do. Because I think too many women get to a point in their life where it becomes a have to because they've lost themselves. So to be in a position where you can entertain, what can I start doing? Like, that's so beautiful. It's a very big conversation in of itself, but I think top line, if I were to speak from my own journey, being courageous enough to put myself in circles that challenge me shows me what's possible for me. And being inspired by how other women show up. I used to be very threatened by assertive women. I would have been the one that said that they were bossy and bitchy. Whereas now I understand what that energy is. I understand the strength. I understand the courage of assertion in a loud room. I see that very differently. So asserting myself in circles like that was very inspiring and very motivating for me. Spending time by myself, I think, was one of the biggest things. Being okay with being on my own. I went through like an awful breakup, and that taught me so much about myself and about my relationship with myself and with independence and with being okay on my own and in my own company. And I honestly think that's one of the biggest things I would recommend, is spending more time to get to know you. Like, even conversation card decks, don't do them with friends, do them with yourself. Can you answer those questions? Do you know your deepest fears? Do you know what the hardest lesson was for you to unlearn? Like, do you know these answers to these questions? Because the more connected you are to yourself, the more deeply connected you can be to other people.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
God, I feel like we could continue to yap. I have so many more questions that I want to ask you. I feel like maybe there's going to have to be like another round 2 of Candy and Annalise.
I would not be mad.
I would not. When you come to Brisbane.
Done.
Cool. So thank you so much for coming on the Don't Sugarcoat It podcast. Where can the listeners find you, and obviously for your event as well?
Yes. So Annelise McCarthy on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, at Her Speaking Coach as well. Find all the information there. And yeah, if you're listening and you're in Australia and you want to come on tour in March, get a ticket, and I'll see you there.
I'll pop the link in the show notes below. Thank you so much for listening to another episode on the Don't Sugarcoat It podcast. I'll be seeing you guys in the next episode. You know the drill. All the spice, no sugar. Bye.